And I forget that they do that now. It's like this meeting is being recorded. Anyway, Kim, thanks for being with us, and the floor is yours.
Awesome. Tell me, anyone, if you can't hear me loud enough. I pushed the mic back a little bit. But yeah, I'm Kim. I'm co-founder of Paid Memberships Pro. And when I was coming up with ideas for this meetup, it always takes me a step back to do like an introductory memberships talk. And I think as a plugin founder, I forget kind of the groundwork that people are looking at with plugins. So I'm going to keep this very introductory. I think we have a good mix of people who develop for customers and people who would implement memberships for themselves. So we'll kind of keep it right in between the two. Yeah, I'm going to start with a demo of just a setup. And through that, we'll talk about the 3 features of what make a membership site, which is that protecting content, kind of accepting recurring payments, and then managing members for you as the admin. And those I talk about, they're like the groundwork features. There's so many more things that you can protect and so many more features of a membership site, but those are the 3 basic ones that our plugin handles at the core version. Yeah, we'll go from there. I know, Allison, you said you had a question. I don't know if you want to throw it out there in the beginning, so I make sure that I touch on it while we're talking, or if you feel like it could do at the end. I think the setup would take 25, 30 minutes and we'll be done and open. But if you want to throw it out there now, you tell us.
Sure. My question is just technical.
Okay.
It's about name servers. Okay. So I have a domain and I managed to set it up on SiteGround. I just and I'm just kind of looking through a SiteGround's tutorial now. And I know I'm a blogger. I'm not a technical person, but I think I'm supposed to point my domain or point my name servers or do something with little numbers in my SiteGround account, and I don't know where to plug them in.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. We'll see. I probably can pull up a doc about that, but definitely the SiteGround account should have those name servers listed, and then you're going to plug them in at your host or your domain registrar. So it kind of is where is your domain registered, did you say?
Namecheap.
Namecheap. Yep. They have like advanced DNS for every domain name, and that's where you would enter those name servers. So it might be like after the call, I send you a link to how to do that. But yeah, you look at SiteGround to get those name servers, and then you'll go into the Namecheap advanced DNS and you'll put them in there as like A records, they're called. So
okay.
Yeah, we can do a link after that. That's for sure a good thing.
Yeah,
cool.
Great.
All right.
Fantastic.
I'm gonna share my
Kim.
Go for it. Yep.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that I'm apt to produce a fair amount of video content. So I'm interested in how do you handle that and your recommendation for where I should post these videos.
Gotcha. Perfect. Okay, cool. We'll talk about videos, premium video sites for sure. That's a definite use case, even outside of the courses realm, just embedded videos, and you have to pay a paying member or even just a registered member. So I'm going to start here. This is our plugin. We've been in the WordPress repository. Oddly enough, tomorrow is the 10-year anniversary, and we just got over celebrating the Ninja Forms 10 years. And now we're like, oh my gosh, it happens. It's tomorrow. We searched back in our email and found that it was 10 years ago yesterday that the repository space was created for us by the plugin review team. And then it was like at 11 p.m., almost midnight tonight, that Jason pushed the first version of code. So pretty cool that is a thing. But yeah, it's open source. We embrace open source with our core plugin, with all of our premium add-ons. So we do have a membership to our site that is paid, and it's technical support at a deeper level than we provide through the WordPress plugins repository support area, and also automatic installs and updates of any of our premium add-ons. And along with us being open source, we're very careful that all the premium add-ons we have are not plugins that integrate with other open source products. So we have an integration for bbPress, and that's also an open source product. So both of those are in the plugins repository. So you'll see a collection of free plugins you can use with our software, a collection of paid. That's kind of that. And then I just have our homepage of our website open so you can see, what plugin are we talking about here. So preparing for this, we have a demo site you can download through our blog. It's free to download. I use Local by Flywheel for local development. So I'm going to be on a local site that I use just for demos. It's a must-love dog site. And someone on our team was saying we need to make a must-love cats comparison site. because they're a cat lover and not as much of a dog lover, but we love all animals, all sizes, canine and feline. So, but our demo site, we did a dog one because we found a cool dog ipsum to populate it with. But this demo site is kind of what you would just call a blog, like a premium blog. We have categories. I did pre-populate it with what I would call like beginner content and professional, because those are the two membership levels we're going to set up. So if you had an existing WordPress site with a lot of posts that existed, and maybe you had some of those posts you wanted to say were premium, or maybe from this point forward, you wanted to start publishing premium content. So that's kind of where this demo starts. We have an existing WordPress site. We have a history of content. And we're gonna let's install memberships. So the first thing you'll do, you'll navigate to plugins, add new area. I did install it already, but I'll just show here. The Paid Memberships Pro plugin. And these are some of those add-ons I talked about that integrate with other things. But right now we're just gonna, activate the core plugin, the Paid Memberships Pro, and then start from the beginning. So once you've activated the membership plugin, you'll get a new area in this left side admin bar for memberships. I did validate myself as a Plus license key. If anyone on this call wants to try out a Plus membership, you can message me through Meetup or through Twitter, and I can just give you a few months to try it out at that level and answer any questions you have. But I put one in this site just so it didn't create any barricades for us. But this main dashboard in our plugin kind of walks you through what are the first few things you need to do to set it up. Kind of something unique about our plugin, we think about the member and the membership as the core. Some plugins, like a course plugin that has membership features, puts courses at the center of their plugin, and then members can access courses. And it's probably more of a mental thing that we internally do than other people. But if you think about the member as the core hub of what your membership site is, then you think about all the features you give to members kind of, I think, differently when you put the member at the center. So I talked about how we were going to set up 2 levels. In this demo, I'm going to set up a free level. We'll call it beginner, and it'll just be a registration only level. There won't be a payment gateway attached to registering for this level, but it will unlock some premium content. So we'll just call this one beginner. How can I type? Okay. In our plugin, we have what we call a description, and the member would see that field at checkout. It'll kind of describe what product they're getting. So you can put content here to say, what does being a beginner member offer you? Access to the beginners category of courses. Maybe you have other features of membership that you would highlight here, like a private community on your site, or some kind of directory of members so you could locate other people in your area. And then the confirmation message field would be shown optionally just on the confirmation page on your site after they complete registration, or you can include it in the confirmation email they receive after registering. This beginner level is free, so we're not going to enter any payment information. There's some additional settings related to expirations and hiding a membership level from public registration. And then here's the one thing we're going to do here. We're going to give beginner members access to the beginner content. So this is just the categories of post within your WordPress site. It'll automatically lock all new posts that you categorize in this beginner level. I'm going to add that second level of professional just while we're here. I don't know, a Must Love Dog site, what a good price. Let's just make it $10 a month, maybe. So for this one, the initial payment is what people will pay when they're completing checkout. So when they come to your site, they click through, they see your level options. They're going to pay $10 right away when they check out. And then the billing amount happens one term after initial payment. So it's a little tricky, but it's how payment gateways structure their billing. So we'll take $10 at initial checkout, and then we'll set them up to start paying us $10 monthly. And I'm not going to put any other limits on this. I'm not going to put an expiration, because even though it is a monthly membership, we don't want it to terminate at any point. So some people do get confused. They add a billing amount and then they set the membership to expire in a month. But just having that recurring billing will handle a failed payment and terminate the member for you. So I'm going to give them access to that beginner content and the professional at this level. Membership protections they're not inherently, like they don't inherently build on one another. Levels aren't tiered by default. They can be separate completely. We could have a must love animals site and have a cat category and a dog category. And even though a level might be like a higher ID than the other, it doesn't mean that the cat category member would be interested in or be purchasing your dog content. So it's just when we make our second tier level, we just protect it for everything, we in our minds consider the lower tier. So now we're kind of where I wanted to be with just setting up the levels. We're going to give people two options: a free way to enter and start browsing some additional content, and then that professional next tier. Any questions on level setup before we move on? We're good. I'm going to pass over discount codes right now because we're just trying to do an initial setup. And part of the initial setup is just assigning the pages that on the front end of the site the user sees. So you could create them manually if you wanted to, but there is also this generate option. And we'll run through kind of the account page where people log in and can view what their membership is and what they're paying. They can view a link to edit their profile information and then some history of past paid invoices. The billing information page is to allow people to edit the funding method for their recurring billing. So if I had a credit card that was expiring August 21, I would get an email saying, hey, like you got to update this credit card on file. We're not going to be able to bill you. There's a cancel page where people can one-click button to terminate their membership. The page that holds your checkout and your confirmation, your invoices, and then just that levels page. How people log into your WordPress site. If you've seen the WordPress login, it kind of exists in that almost admin-like view. And some people get nervous. Are people logging into my admin? Are people seeing my WordPress dashboard when they're a member of my site? But so we do have a front-end login experience for members, and then also a way for them to edit their profile. Again, with that, keeping people out of the admin, there is a view of the WordPress admin for people to manage their profiles, but it can be confusing for users to see that screen and not know how to navigate back to your site. That's the page setup. Here's a payment gateway and SSL, which there can be some problems with it. So if you are starting one and everyone here seems US based, we deeply recommend using Stripe as your payment gateway. Here in the US, there's really no reason why, unless you were a super mature site, that you wouldn't be approved to have a Stripe account. So that's kind of your easiest to set up gateway. GiveWP also has Stripe integration. It's kind of the developer's favorite to integrate with. And a lot of our customers also use PayPal Express as like an added option for checkout. So if you think a lot of your customers are in an area where PayPal is available to them, there's PayPal research saying that if PayPal is an option, a lot of people find that to be a more secure checkout on a site. There are still people who have a nervous experience entering credit card details on anyone's website that they see, but that PayPal experience they trust because they're navigated to the PayPal experience. They complete the checkout there and then they return to the site. So it is kind of a more trustworthy.
What is PayPal Express versus regular PayPal? Or is it just
yeah, so PayPal Standard was one of their older integrations. And while we do integrate with it, it has a lag between the time that PayPal says a payment was received. So it's a less positive experience for members when you integrate with PayPal Standard. They get to the checkout page, but it might still be waiting to hear from PayPal, and there'll be a message that says like, we have to wait and see. But PayPal Express happens instantly. Both those gateways are off-site. So they get to the PayPal screen, they log into their PayPal account. These two other methods of PayPal would allow on-site credit card checkout and a PayPal Pay at PayPal button. So Stripe is an on-site credit card checkout. The credit card fields will be right on your checkout page. With the Express and Standard implementation, they would go to PayPal, and then all the other ones are an on-site. Well, To Checkout is also an off-site gateway, but not as popular. Does that clarify a little bit? Most sites you probably integrate or have used are using PayPal Express or a newer product called PayPal Checkout. So
Thank you.
Yeah. The rest of this, we don't always change too much in a default implementation. I will say that sales tax in our plugin is getting a major overhaul. We're going to have integration with a service called Avalara. So for sites that are dealing with a broad region or internationally, will be a great service because they can handle international taxes really well. If you think that your audience is more region, just your state, or you've kind of researched tax laws, which is not something I will ever say I'm a professional opinion on, you can use these built-in things, but this will soon be overhauled with an integration in the WordPress plugin in the WordPress.org repository for like a native thing. So I didn't change anything because we're just doing a testing site. We don't need to connect to a real gateway. The same with this email screen. This allows you to change what default emails from your WordPress site are sent from. So you may have a WordPress site that sends like a password reset, and you'll see that it sends from wordpress@yourdomain.com. So this is a way to override that and change the appearance of it. We don't have to change anything for this site. But I'll go over some of the advanced settings only because it's a large page of settings and there's a lot here that I make default for a lot of the sites I set up. There is a way to block subscriber role access from the dashboard. Does anyone want like a primer on WordPress roles and why they're different than like our levels? Should we go through that? Subscriber is just the default level of capability for a WordPress site. And that's what your default usually is set at for every WordPress site. You can modify this, and some other membership plugins use the role system in WordPress over levels, but we chose to make levels its own thing separate of roles so that you could manipulate both of them. WooCommerce stores use roles to change a person to be like a customer is a role, and a bbPress plugin will add a role like a participant or a moderator in a forum. So we thought that keeping membership separate of that, because we know that sites want to integrate with these other role-based systems, would be our better path. So I'm going to come back to these settings when we go forward with securing some things. I think those were the main updates I wanted to make. There is an option to add a terms of service agreement at checkout, and it can often we recommend the terms of service, especially if you're at like a free level that people are agreeing to. We have one for our own site. It's separate from like the privacy policy pieces of core WordPress, but there's some code like Termageddon is a website you can use to help you generate the content of kind of a terms page. So that's really the basic setup of the full Paid Memberships Pro. We set up our levels, we assigned those front end pages, and then because we didn't do anything to connect a payment gateway, but that would have been just done on that page. Like for Stripe, it just needs you to enter like 2 keys from your Stripe account and configure your webhook. So it's not a long process. A lot of people come to us and they're like, I'm launching memberships tomorrow. And it is fast to set these pieces up, but you never know what odd things are going to happen once you start. So don't install a membership plugin the day before you want to launch a membership feature. I don't think any of you would do that. We're better than this. Yeah. So this is the front end of your site now. What's changed because we implemented Paid Memberships Pro here? I think I have a membership as an admin, but I'm going to log out, or I'll open I'm going to log out because I think I'm only sharing this screen. All right, let's put this one on. Okay. So now I'm not logged in. I'm not a member. I have to I have to protect some content. I thought it would have saved from my demo, but it didn't. All right, let's protect some content. All right, so now we know that we want to, okay. So where are our posts? Oh, didn't we lock them for memberships already? Hold on, let's check this out. I thought we locked the content. Yeah, we did, okay. So this one's in the beginner content category, right? Can I switch to like a different, if I stop sharing and share a Chrome browser, it's always easier to like bump between the two. One's your logged in experience and one's your logged out experience.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think you could do that. I think you could have one in a incognito window or something.
Okay. What category is this in?
Where are you located, Kim?
One moment. I am in Reading, Pennsylvania. We are kind of right between Harrisburg and Philly. All right, let me pull this up. Why does it think nothing's in our beginner content level? Oh, I'm filtering it. That's why. Look, I did the very thing our customers say they do. I love that I did that. Okay, here we go. All right, so here I am. I'm logged in. I'm going to show you the thing that everyone does, and then they wonder why. Okay. So in the content settings section, you have the option to filter searches and archives. And what this means is if you have protected posts that you want no one to see, you don't even want them to know the title, you don't want them to know the URL to that protected piece of content, you would filter every search and every archive view, which includes with WordPress that blog homepage, the page for posts page. So that was why we couldn't see any of the protected content. And then same with the excerpt of the post. So I don't know if anyone is using a page builder. Often they have a separate excerpt field. The block editor in WordPress has the ability to define the excerpt of your post, or you can use the more block if anyone's used that to divide what is kind of the excerpt piece and what is the full content of your post. So our plugin also has the option to hide or show those. So if you wanted to show get the most SEO opportunity out of protected members content, you would not filter searches and archives, which means you're including protected content in those searches, and you would show the excerpts. One of the things about membership sites is when you're protecting things to members only, that means that even Google can't see and index your premium content, which it can be difficult to get organic traffic if you have very few articles that are public and available for public view. Okay, so now we undid that, right? Let's double check while I was walking through it. Okay, non-members will see restricted posts, good, and we're gonna show excerpts, good. Okay, now if I switch and I share to my Chrome browser, okay, awesome. So here we had a search result and we just had a few pieces. Now we can see a protected piece. The lock here isn't done by our plugin, it's done by this theme, which is a theme that we're also authors of for membership sites. I don't know how long this theme will be around, just watching how full site editing is happening and whether we want to keep up with that or develop in a different way to support people building sites that way. But here I am on a protected piece of content. I can see the title, I can see kind of meta information, I can see that excerpt. And in here I put a photo of a doggy before the excerpt, before that more tag, and then the rest of the content will be hidden for non-members, and it will show them whatever message you define, encouraging them to log in or to join your site. So if they click to join your site, they're going to see your membership options. This is a very default view. I have a lot of articles to share if people want to make more robust pricing pages, have columns, show comparison features, checkboxes, or you get this upgraded thing when you move forward. But this is what comes basic. So we can do a free checkout for a user. By default, it's asking you for all of these fields. There are ways to shorten what fields are required at checkout. I'll do this. Cool. So your member would complete that field. Oh, they didn't like my very insecure password that was the same as my username. Go figure. And if we had entered special information, they would have seen that confirmation here. They get an email also, which we can pull up in local. Here. Oh, you won't see it because I'm not sharing the screen. We'll look at the email later. And then I can go right to my membership account page. I'm logged in now. I'm just a subscriber WordPress user. So you see we're not seeing that toolbar across the top of our site. And everything they need to do to manage their account can be done from the front end of the site. Now they can view that $0 invoice that they made for their payment or not payment. They can go back to the levels page and change or upgrade. If they wanted to cancel, even at the free level, it offers them a page to do that. And then if they want to update their information, and change how they're, dog lover 1, 2, 3, how they're shown maybe in your forums or as a comment they post on your blog, they can do that all right from the front end too. So the big thing they got was access to read that article and read the whole thing. So now I can see everything after all my doggo ipsum that I want. So that's the protecting content piece. The same way that posts are protected with our plugin, you can protect a page, you can protect just a section of a post, which for video sites, that's something people do. They make the whole post public and then they just hide the video piece in a special block. So we can demo that. I'm going to go back to our other browser. This is so jarring. Where's my Safari? Okay, share. Here's this. Where'd it go? Nope. Safari, cool. Share. Okay. Here's the emails that come through. So as a registering member, I got a confirmation, which this can be customized if you want it to have special links. Maybe you want to link right to that beginner content and say, click here to view all the new articles you can get with this membership. And then the same for the admin, they get a confirmation that there was a new membership sign up on their site, you know, some basic details about the person and the level that they chose. It's a good segue into how we manage members. So in your admin, you're going to have a tab members, and everyone that has a level will show up here. It's not it's a similar view to the user's view in your WordPress site. And the WordPress users and members is the same data, but not every user has to be a member. You can have users that aren't part of the membership. So right now we just have this single user, the one that we just signed up. I can show you how you would update just a generic WordPress user to become a member. You would edit their user profile, and then you could give them a membership level right from the admin. It won't charge them anything. It will give them that level for free, and it won't necessarily email them unless you instruct it to. But we can give someone a complimentary professional membership. We can give them a special term. So if anyone wanted to sign up for our thing, we could say, okay, let's give them like 2 months of free membership, just complimentary for them. So that's like the manage members piece. And we kind of covered all the things that make a membership site, you know, that how we restrict content, how we'd accept payment, and then how we would manage our members. So the next phase of this talk can go anywhere we want. If we want to set up another kind of premium feature of membership outside of posts and pages, we can demo some stuff. So if anyone wants to opt something we go for, we can do video if we want, and a few methods of that. So
the video, Jim does a lot with video
okay.
for his courses. So let's show him how that works.
Great.
Yeah, video would be great.
Do you host your video currently like with YouTube, or do you have hosting somewhere else?
Well, I've been using YouTube. Hang on, let me start my video.
Mm-hmm.
I've been using YouTube, just putting up some videos, random videos.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think if I want to charge and whatnot, I think I have to go to Vimeo or something like that. And
Yeah.
I've got no experience with any of that stuff. And how do you configure it? And how do you divide and conquer
with video,
content from it?
It can get really expensive when you're hosting your own video. YouTube is a great way because it's free, basically video hosting, but then you don't lose that privacy aspect of it. So kind of the least secure, but least expensive and great way to get started is people will upload their videos to YouTube and keep them unlisted and still embed them in the membership site in a protected way. So that's like it's very easy to set up. You already know how to embed a YouTube video into a post or page on your site. There's like zero cost to getting started that way. The caveat is that someone can find that unlisted video and click that link and share it to someone directly. So you kind of lose the security of that. Vimeo for sure. I'll bring up the blog. So with Vimeo, you can have videos uploaded there and you can set up a specific domain that you're allowed to have them embedded on. So that's within the Vimeo account. It's a paid service. Maybe I can put this link in the chat, right? Here. We have a few tutorials. Go ahead.
This is what, an upgrade to your application? What are you showing me?
For Vimeo, you would need a premium Vimeo account. And then all of your videos will be managed through Vimeo. They have like an upload tool very similar to YouTube. You would set up in your Vimeo account that the videos can only be viewed on your domain name, just in case anyone found like the source of your video, you would block that within the Vimeo account. And then when you would be editing a poster page on your site, just like YouTube, Vimeo has a little block of code to embed it in a poster page. So you could, we'll make a fake video here. You know, my wood turning top tips, right? And we would say like, you know, watch this. If we put the more tag in, we know that the excerpt is only, if we have excerpt set to be visible, we know that nobody without a membership level would see this. And I think WordPress has like a Vimeo embed. So you would use that Vimeo URL block in WordPress to paste the source. But we can get a non-private video. Don't they have like a public? No, I'm wondering if I can get like a Vimeo video to drop in. Maybe not. Okay, so you would just enter that URL here.
Sure.
This isn't going to work. It's going to say that's not an embed. And then within the page itself, to lock this page to members only, you would, in this right side, click the page, not the block editor, and under require membership, check the level that was required to view it. I don't know what level I have. And then when the person would go to view the front end of the site, they wouldn't be able to see the video. It would be stripped from their view. They'd have to join to come back to see that. So you'd be paying Vimeo. I don't know what their pricing is. How bad is it? Is it based on number of videos or watches, maybe stream?
Oh yeah, it looks like it's volume. How many gigabytes, terabytes?
Yeah, it's not inexpensive. You know, if I shoot an hour of video or hour and a half video, it's pretty big. It's pretty chunky.
I think Kim has frozen. I think this happened before we were all on. Maybe she'll be back any second. Yeah, but it can get pretty pricey for sure. Yep, she'll be back. She had a little bit of an issue earlier. Maybe one of her kids tried to get on their tablet or something. She said Comcast is coming out this week to fix it. Anybody have questions while we're waiting that I might know the answer to? Here she comes. Welcome back.
Oh my gosh.
No worries.
We were doing pretty good, weren't we? We had that technical issue before the call and now it came back. I'm sorry. Okay.
It looked like you were reading the site and then we all realized that you were reading it for very much longer than you needed to.
We're like, why is she reading that site still? I think dinner is finished in our house and everyone thought they could start using internet again. I don't know why I don't like my internet right now. Okay. So yeah, Vimeo for sure. And we have a customer that used something called this Vimeography plugin, and it made a cool grid view of all the videos. So the way we showed you was you would create either WordPress posts or WordPress pages for each video and be embedding them. This Vimeography has a WordPress plugin that will just show it as a grid automatically and let you categorize your videos. So you'd be protecting them by category, but it would show them in like a watchable, more attractive grid. So I can share a link to this also in the meetup after. And the same with those videos. If you're doing videos with courses, you would protect the course, not the embed of the video of a poster page, but it would still be protected with Vimeo from that, just because you said like only show them on my domain name. It wouldn't allow anyone to access them directly.
Definitely a benefit of using Vimeo.
Yep.
So a high level general question, which I guess more of a philosophy question.
Mhm,
Say I wanted to start a wood turning academy.
mhm.
Would I be better off to make that part of my existing website, or are you better off and easier to manage and control just doing a whole new separate site?
It is tricky when if you have like the main site is selling the membership, it can be tricky to divide that content well. So we notice this with membership sites. You know, let's say your homepage, right? Your homepage is all about selling people to upgrade to Academy, giving them a selection of what they would get if they're a member of Academy. But if I'm already a member, what does my homepage look like? So I think a lot of sites go the subdomain route and separate site route for that reason, because it makes it easier to sell and market the Academy version. And then the Academy version is exclusively a positive member experience. Every page is, they won't get double sold to. They won't see ads for things and ads for upgrading and things like that. But you can do it in a single site. Our own Partnerships Pro site kind of sells our membership, but it also has private content for people that are members. So we didn't go that route. We have it all connected. I think it's just, as long as from a usability standpoint, you can give people a clear way to get between the two. And if it's only just like a login link from the main site, I don't think people, once they're on the Academy site, do they ever need to go back to the main one? Maybe, maybe not. And would you still use your main site to create organic traffic for that free content, that public content to kind of drive people into the Academy? It can help too to have like a different theme. So the Academy site might have, you know, a more member portal type theme. The header might be very member focused. Maybe you put their name up there, welcome Jim. And then that other site is more a traditional menu structure. So it can help to have people feel like immersed in the Academy when they're on that subdomain site. And then it can carry a separate theme from the main site. So
Thank you.
I would avoid a network WordPress site if you can help it and don't have someone with like deep WordPress experience. WordPress has the ability to set it up so that sites are connected, but it often creates more problems than it provides benefits. So you could have two separate WordPress installs, one domain, one subdomain, and that would be a lot more straightforward to manage than the subdomain approach or the multi-site approach.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. And we talked a lot about courses. Do you want to, I think Shane, were you going to talk? Is it Shane? There's Steve. I'm sorry. I can't see names anymore. Okay. I can do some courses demos also if anyone wants to look at those. I guess what we can take this Academy conversation even further and say, you know, is the Academy just e-learning? And do you need a membership site or a memberships plugin for that? Because a lot of the e-learning tools like a LearnDash, Lifter LMS are two of the most popular that we integrate with. They have their own features for user registration. They have their own features for membership checkout. They can do recurring payments. So why would you need a membership plugin on top of that? And it often, for me, the conversation gets down to, is courses the only thing that you're offering your members? Or do you want to give members features in a lot of different ways? Do you want to have events that are members only and you're going to want an events plugin? Are you going to have a community where people can chat with one another and start topics related to issues they're facing? Maybe based on one of the tutorials you wrote, some turning project they're having struggle with, and they want to start a forum topic about it and interact and have community. As you start to add on these different aspects, do you have a directory of people who are interested in this hobby or this profession, and you want to list them maybe for the public to view and say, like, these are people who can create custom things for you in your region? You would not be able to do all of those things as easily if you only did an e-learning or a courseware plugin. But many membership sites are just e-learning, just kind of coaching or courseware, and they don't need a membership plugin. So I think we could dive into that. It's more like use case specific, where you think like, what are we offering today, and what do we think we'll offer down the road in terms of kind of features of our membership product.
Kim, I know some of the things that sometimes people are looking at, whether it's they're building a course or, you know, it's a coach and they have a membership site that they want people to have a forum. A lot of people just resort to having a Facebook group. People can join, but not everybody wants to be on Facebook or checks in on Facebook. So how would you recommend doing forums on a WordPress website? Because I know that can, in the past, has been tricky, you know, to try to figure out what's the best plugin to use for that. Is it something that comes with Paid Memberships Pro, or how would you integrate a forum like that for people to be able to have online conversations?
So with us, we had a early integration with bbPress. So that is an open source project like WordPress that is a robust forum software. We can actually set it up if we want here and lock one down. And then the other option is called BuddyPress, and that's when you want forums, but you really want interactive community. So you want kind of friending and messages and people to be able to create their own groups within your community. And that it includes forum software, so you can have forums as part of your BuddyPress site. It just takes it that step further to have community features as well. And then there's a newer product called BuddyBoss that is based off of BuddyPress. So it includes a lot of the same features you'll see from a traditional BuddyPress or a bbPress for forums. And then they're trying to build a bigger business on top of that. So we can set up a forum for our dog lovers. That feels very applicable.
Sure.
I hope nobody's like really scared of dogs, and you try to pick something that is almost accepting among everyone. I hope no one's having, I didn't do the Must Love Snakes website for a reason. That is not my favorite thing.
It's just pictures. I think we're good.
Okay.
I've noticed a bunch of WordPressers lately too, trying to set up their own circle. You heard of Circle? And use that. And I assume that's, I mean, because it's not WordPress, it's outside of WordPress. That's
It is.
If you wanted to use that, you could integrate the way to access that into your emails and your confirmation screen.
You could. It wouldn't maybe automatically remove people when their membership canceled. There could be an admin step, and often the admin step isn't a terrible thing when you're starting out. How many people are canceling daily? We advise people at times that there could be a developer solution that makes things really streamlined for you. But if you're just starting out, you know, it's not a $2,000 investment to have to remove someone from a community when you get that cancel email, and just see how you want it to work in advance. But you could also use a service like Zapier. There's also the WP Automator. Is that what it's called? Automator. And they offer integration with Paid Memberships Pro. We have a native Zapier integration. So it's not always free to use those, but it will help you move people in and out through an automatic service to do so. Yeah. We can set up.
I have a generic question
lovers.
for you,
Go
Kim.
ahead.
So, you know, as Michelle and others here locally know, you know, I describe myself as a mere mortal. I'm not a developer. I'm a wood turner. But we've been successful in putting up our WordPress sites. How, if I wanted to implement something like this, do you have a, you know, here are the 50 steps checklist you need to go through? Because, you know, as you've been demonstrating, right, there's the setup email you have to create. There's the, okay, when their term ends, you know, there must be a renew, you know, email that gets sent out.
Those are all
There's
pre-populated with basic
a lot of
text.
steps that you have to go through.
There are, yeah. There's a lot already. Let me see if I can find it. That we showed in the demo. They're built plugins, so they're not even customized at all. You could customize them if you wanted to. So that would just be your choice to do that. I can show you this integration. Every email that the system sends is editable. So we have that free checkout email that the user sees. We can bring that up and we can say, and we can just edit the text here if we want to, but the basic version that's there explains everything that we think those emails need to say to your members. So
Okay. I mean, that could be a week long. I mean, you just showed a whole list. I mean, that's a week of editing just on emails.
Yeah, if you really wanted to customize every one of them for your site, for sure, you would.
Right,
If you weren't pleased,
Okay.
not everyone is sent based on what your site is. So if you don't have trials in your website, you wouldn't need to touch those ever and things like that. The same with this, you would never even need to edit it, depending on your setup.
Is there a step-by-step process?
So, I mean, so I guess I'll come back to my fundamental question. You don't have a step-by-step. My very first weekend ever with WordPress, I found a YouTube video, and it was a 2-hour video, but it took me all weekend long to go through. And by the end of the weekend, I had my shop up and running. Go do this, go do this, go do this. Do you have something like that, or in your documentation or anything like that?
Yeah, this is what we consider the initial setup. So there is a tutorial video. I think that it's approaching an hour long, not quite
Okay,
2 hours,
all right.
but yeah. And then each step that we went through with setting up our level, generating those pages, connecting a payment gateway if it's needed. This email setting was editing that email address and then explaining all of the advanced settings to you. So that would set up, these steps would set up the plugin. The next thing you would do would be protect all that content or start populating videos that are protected. So the content creation side, we can restrict the content, but that would be a phase also for you of, creating all that course content or creating those different pages and that kind of video library. So depending on what you're protecting, that can be a very lengthy step for sure. Just curating all that content. But this page, I can include a link to this as well, would get you through everything we talked about today.
Great, thank you.
Yep. What were we doing? We were making a forum, right?
I was like, I can't remember what were we doing. Yes, it was.
Doberman lovers. All right. I made it a members only forum. I'm an admin. It might let me in. No, it doesn't. Okay. So I better give myself a level. What did I do? Here we go. I'm going to just give myself a membership level. Here. I'll be a beginner. Okay. So you saw that we couldn't access the topics within this forum. There's no topics. Now we'll start one like my Doberman is always happy. Okay. So if someone was submitting topics, oh, I can't have why is this so amazing? Okay. I'm an admin, so it looks different for me. I can log into a different one, but this kind of conversation would only be visible to other members. And we're in the Doberman lovers category. So the same thing, we can log out and see that we can't access this. The thing is covering there. Okay.
This forum is for members only.
Yep. So I can't access, the content within this forum as a non-member. So if you had aspects of the Academy that were collaborative like that and community-based, I would recommend BBPress. I think it is a really great plugin for forum stuff, but I think there are some other forum softwares as well. So
nice. Trisha has she has 3 questions in the chat here. So the first is, my client is on Divi with GoDaddy managed hosting. So she's thinking a membership or LMS on her site isn't a good idea, but she's wondering what hosting you recommend. And then also you've been talking about videos. What about like a one-time thing to buy a PDF? And would this connect to an email marketing list like MailerLite?
Okay, I'm going to start with the hosting recommendations. So managed hosting is fine. It's really shared hosting that is the biggest issue, and shared hosting and managed hosting when it's not extremely cached. So you need to be able to control and not cache certain things in a membership site. So a lot of the lower tier hostings that are the $5 to $15 per month level, they rely on caching to keep those costs low. And for a membership site, there's a different experience of what's viewable if you're logged in or not, and a certain post or page can't be cached for all people regardless of their login. If I'm a member, I want to see the full content. And if I'm a non-member, I want it to be hidden for them. So we recommend setting up your cache. I can send a link to the caching article after. But we just recommend turning off caching for logged in users as a baseline, and that often gets around all of it. But lower tier hosting doesn't always allow that. So that's kind of the hosting thing. We have people that use minimum SiteGround level hosts and they're fine with it. You have to turn off that SG optimizer. If they let you turn that off at your tier, you have to turn off some of that host forced caching so that you can actually show protected content to members. But we do have people using SiteGround and successful with it. One of our favorite hosts is Nexus, Liquid Web Hosting. We like their managed WordPress hosting for sure for sites. For the cost, we think it's pretty zippy, and it does give you enough control over how you do caching in your WordPress site to deliver the right content to the right people.
Nice.
Okay, that was that. Then we talked about, tell me the second one. It
Oh,
was,
yeah.
oh, Divi. Do you want to know how protecting things with Divi?
Sure.
So it is worrisome here. So we do have a native Divi. I'm not a large page builder user, but we do have integration with them. So when I have to use them, I look like I've never used WordPress in my life before, just because I'm not as familiar with it. I like when the block editor came out, I was like, I'm just going to use the HTML block and use this to code. And that's not what the intention was. And that's not what most people using our plugin and using WordPress are doing. So with Divi, you can restrict. You have to use the ID of the level, but it's by section. So when you insert a new section in Divi, which will span the whole width of your page content, you can control visibility and hide a whole section of the page, in addition to protecting the full post itself. So this is the way that people who are using Divi would hide or show like a little section of the article, maybe like a special thing that only certain members can see or use. So we can integrate, and you can work with Divi if they don't want to leave that, if it's something that's familiar for them.
And you don't have any problems with people who are hosting on GoDaddy?
We had a GoDaddy issue. It was related to some of their security and login things, but we did resolve it. So we know that it's a large WordPress host and it's an important WordPress host. So it's really just that shared plan. You can't have like a shared IP address, especially to have a dedicated SSL. If you're going to have checkouts on your site, you need to have a dedicated SSL, not a shared SSL. But I think most GoDaddy plans now include that.
Okay. And then I think her second question, where she talks about the videos, but the one-time thing like a PDF.
Yes.
So you can password protect downloads and things too?
You can password protect downloads. We also have, okay, one-time, okay. So there's a few ways to do like a one-time purchase. One is this add-on we offer called add-on packages, add-on packages, very confusing, sorry. But this is that one-off thing that you want people to be able to buy. And it can be any page or post on your WordPress site, and you just set a dollar value on it. You say like, this is a $10 piece of content, and people with a membership level, either a paid or a free, can just purchase that additional thing through their checkout. After they complete checkout, their confirmation page and their confirmation email includes a link back to it. And just like our other posts where they only showed the excerpt, now the person who's purchased this thing can see the full page. So any content you would want to put below that excerpt area, they would be able to see. So people use this for once-off video purchases. They use it for private coaching sessions, and they just want people to be able to make payment through the same portal. You can say $500 for a 2-hour coaching session, and people would buy it, and you could update them later. We are also integrated with WooCommerce, so you could set up WooCommerce alongside Paid Memberships Pro and offer one-time purchases through the WooCommerce checkout. You could offer members a discount on things. So maybe you have a $50 product that you sell through WooCommerce. If you have the beginner membership, it's $40. So you can incentivize a subscription to your site for discounts in your products shop.
And can you automatically add new registrants to your MailChimp, MailerLite, things like that? Is that a Zapier question, or do you have
Yeah, we are
integration?
not natively integrated with MailerLite, but we are with MailChimp, with ConvertKit, with Aweber.
Mhm.
So, and I probably MailPoet too. I haven't tested it since Automatic acquired it, but Automatic or MailPoet being a native way to send newsletters through your WordPress site. So the MailChimp one is probably the tightest integration, and ConvertKit. That's what we use for our own site. So each of those add-ons has a settings screen where you say members of this level get either tagged or added to these lists in the email program. And as members get memberships or are removed from them, they're removed accordingly, and their tags are removed accordingly in their email marketing tool.
Oh, cool. And if you were using something separate, you could, as long as they had a Zapier endpoint, you could use the Zapier
You
integration
could, yep.
to get
Or
them.
you could manually update it. So you could, a lot of MailerLite has a native WordPress integration. You could export your member data before you do a send and update people with some kind of profile field in MailerLite right before send. So think about ways to add a manual process just to keep the costs down for people starting out, and any technical, setup problems also.
Nice. Trisha, did we get all your questions answered?
There's one more. Look at the chat.
She's muted. Thumbs up. She gave the thumbs up. We got them all. Excellent. Any other questions you're all thinking about?
Lay it on me. We did talk about coaching a little, but I can show you another plugin that coaches like.
Yeah.
So coaching, it's often like a one-to-one type thing. So we do have an extension that allows people, it gives everyone a unique page after checkout that's just for them to view. So if I was being coached for, I don't know what I'm being coached for.
Public speaking.
Public speaking coach. Great. I love one. Okay. I would complete checkout. I would get that unique page, and all of the updates about my coding sessions or coaching sessions could be posted there by the coach, and it would be a portal just for me.
Oh, nice.
So it's called user pages. I can generate one for myself. Hopefully that worked. Let's see. But when I go to my membership account page, no, it didn't work. Did I get a page? User pages. Do I have to have a page? Oh, I didn't. Did I check this? Let's try again. Okay, it worked. Okay. I was like, uh-oh. So far this has not been, besides my cutting out during video, I haven't gone too far. Okay. So now I can see a unique page just for me called, it's the name of the level, but you can customize this if you want to name it something else, but kind of all the content. And then it's weird because I'm also the admin of this site, but the coach could log in and after a session, edit that page or post and show unique things there. Could share, the date of the session, July, was it the 5th? We talked about public speaking fears, and I gave you 3 exercises to learn how to spell, to try. So then that content would then show up for the user, and they would always have that landing page. Only they can view. No one else coming to the membership site can see the content of that page. So it is a cool way to do coaching when you have things that you want to, make note of or have as like a special experience for that person. Any links you want to share.
That's very cool.
That was a note I made beforehand. Talk about LearnDash. Someone said they're using Gravity Forms is that for the quilting site, right? With the Divi and the Gravity Forms.
Yes. Yes.
Some people do use Gravity Forms for the membership sites. You can connect Gravity Form fields to user meta. So it's a way to have like kind of more robust profiles. We have a user fields update that we're working on right now, but right now it's a code approach. So it's not the most user-friendly for people who aren't into coding PHP, but it will be improved soon, actually kicking off this week, more work on that project. But you could use Gravity forms to create profile fields like profile completeness. You could, on this Must Love Dogs site, you could create a page that's, tell me about all your dogs and add all their names and information. It would be linked to me as a member of your site. Some people also use Gravity forms for a membership registration because they do have user registration modules. They have payment modules also. So if you wanted to make a really streamlined landing page with a Gravity form, and you could link the submission of that form to a membership level and give the user that's created after that form submitted a level, bypassing our checkout process. So
We
those
could
are my
do the
notes.
same thing with Give WP and donors.
There you go. Use a Gravity form to accept a donation and register them as a donor.
Yep. Or have a donor link up to their paid membership too.
That's right. That's right.
Very cool. Other questions for Kim? Because I know she said dinner's done, so she's probably getting
Oh
hungry.
no, they ate their dinner. I'm good. I think I'm gonna stay down here all day. I'll be like, I'm still on. I can't come home.
And it is definitely a lot. We did add you to our Facebook group today, so feel free to post all the links
Yes,
in there.
I can post the links there. Great.
Yeah, if anybody is not already a member of our group that's in, we've got some other people here today. Let me find that for you. I'll put a link in the, I can't talk and type at the same time. I always try and I'm never good at it. Here it is in the chat. So feel free, if you are, even if you're not in the Rochester area, you can join that Facebook group. We do have lots of questions in there frequently. We also have a Slack group that is somewhat active, more I would say in the DMs back and forth between people to ask questions and get help. But and if you're interested in that, I think all you have to do is go to WPRochester.com. Links to all of these things are there, right there for you too. And I didn't put HTTPS, so it's not going to be a link, but if you go to WPRochester.com, you can get into both our Slack group and our Facebook group because we'll put things in there. And it can really, if you want to post stuff in the Facebook group, I can always copy it over to the Slack group too. So you don't have to have one more Slack channel.
Yeah,
And
no,
if
I
you're
will
like me, there's
definitely.
like 50 of them down the side of your Slack integration. So many.
Being careful not to add myself to more.
I know. I just opted out of a few this last week that I was like, oh, I haven't seen anything in here in a while. Basically groups that I mentor for at their word camps, but yeah. Other questions for Kimberly?
This was just really interesting. I had not seen a membership site before like this, so thank you.
No,
It's
no
almost
problem.
nicer to have a plugin like this than to try to cobble things together using like 7 or 8 different plugins, because it can be done, but
Mhm.
you're paying for more than one plugin most of the time, and you're trying to figure out how to make them talk to each other. Whereas with Paid Memberships Pro, you just have one plugin that you can, and maybe some add-ons and things that you want to
Mhm.
add with it, but one that's really controlling everything and is the central hub of that whole process, which makes it so much easier.
Yeah, this was informative. I'm now like noodling on like, well, eventually do I just want to go beyond blogging? Like, should I develop some paid content?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I know, something to think about.
Opportunity there. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's whether you're doing full-on classes, whether you're, you know, gatekeeping content, or you're coaching. I know Trisha has a lot of customers. She builds sites for a lot of coaches. So this could be something that's really helpful and how that works together too. Something like this is really scalable for all those different kinds of content that you want to include.
Nice.
Something with coaching I've been like watching is this whole cohort thing where you have coaching to a group, but they kind of onboard at the same time together, and they have maybe their own forum that they communicate in exclusively, and they kind of, whether it's a 30-day, I know there's a 30-day writing cohort, but it's an interesting evolution of membership sites and coaching, so that coach can deliver to many people at once, and then they have one another as they're moving through it. So
Yeah, definitely helpful stuff.
Yeah. It feels overwhelming. I feel like did I make an overwhelming presentation? But please reach out. You can reach me on Twitter, or you can send me an email, kim@strangerstudios.com, or message me through that Facebook group. I think it seems overwhelming, but every use case, you can whittle it down to something. Look at my wood joke. That you can get started with. You don't need all these features day one. You can kind of launch something and then let your members tell you what they're loving. They're like, we'd love a way to communicate with one another. We'd love a directory that would help us find work, and let them bring that. And then you can swoop in and be the hero to deliver those features for them. So starting small is a good way to start.
Absolutely. And whenever you get a demo, you're seeing like everything. And it's better to just start with like that list that you had. This is how you get started. And then of course you can add more things and do other things as well. But when you do a demo, you want to see like, what are all the capabilities of it? And then it can feel overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. For sure.
Oh.
Other questions for Kim? Kim, you're welcome to stay, but you're also welcome to go eat your dinner. So we're going to kind of open it up to other questions now. And I do understand if you suddenly have technical difficulties and you're gone.
No, this is good. I'll hang out. I'm good.
But other WordPress questions, other type questions, anything we can help you out with. Karen says, thank you a lot. She learned a lot. Thank you so much, Kim, in the comments. The audio is not working, so.
Are there any plans for co-working days coming up?
I was going to put one together for the end of June, but life got a little bit crazy, so I haven't done that. We're looking to put one together in Hilton because it's hard to find a place right now that will accommodate everybody. So, but our office is here. We can have like 4 people. So if we want to get 4 more people to come in and do one of those, we'll do them on a Wednesday, and probably after the last week of July, though, after WordFest, because WordFest is taking up a lot of my energy and time right now.
What is WordFest?
WordFest is like a WordCamp, but it's not put on by WordPress itself. It's put on by Big Orange Heart. It's a 24-hour celebration of WordPress with different talks, we actually have some wellness sessions. So yeah, if you go to wordfest.live, I'll put it here and you can see what it is. Big Orange Heart is a charitable organization for mental well-being in remote working communities, like most of us are, working from home and things like that, and who aren't necessarily working in an office with all of our coworkers, things like that, and especially around reducing the isolation that comes with being a remote worker. And so WordFest is a way to connect people globally. It's 24 hours. It literally goes through the entire globe. Like we have 6 continents that we cycle through. And then the 7th continent is Antarctica. That's our, what do you call it? The hallway track where you can go to chill out, get it? Antarctica, chill out. And, and there's going to be just lots of opportunities to talk to different people, networking opportunities, as well as learning opportunities where you can hear a bunch of different topics. So if you go to WordFest Live right now and you look down through the schedule, you'll get to see all the different topics and speakers that are going to be there. And we're also doing community interviews with different people so that we just get a take from people around the world, different things that are happening in their communities through WordPress, things like that. So yeah, so it's going to be, there's some different panel discussions and all kinds of fun stuff.
And when is this?
July 23rd. Yeah, it starts at midnight UTC, which is midnight in somewhere like that's what used to be Greenwich Mean Time, I guess. So that's when it kind of starts and then works its way around and finishes up towards the end of the day here on the 23rd. But it actually starts midnight UTC, which is 4 hours ahead of us. So that'll start at 8 p.m. Rochester time on the 22nd. And if you're in Winnipeg, it's way before that, and I don't know what it is. Sorry, Brent.
It's just 1 hour earlier, that's all.
Okay. Like, I don't know where Winnipeg is. My geography is terrible. Everybody who ever talks to me knows that I am time zone illiterate, and I always have to be told where I'm supposed to show up to someplace in my own time zone, because otherwise I have no clue what I'm supposed to do.
If you know the border between North Dakota and Minnesota, we're just straight north of that. Not very far.
Very good. I talked to a lot of people in Vancouver throughout the day on our team, but you're much further east than Vancouver is then.
Yeah.
Very good. So you're 5 hours off that. So you would start at 7 p.m. Yeah, illiterate when it comes to time zones. Sorry, folks. I have websites that tell me what to do, where I'm supposed to be, what I'm supposed to do. And that's hard when you're working with people internationally a lot. But yeah, so it's free to come to WordFest. We do have the opportunity to give a $10 donation when you sign up for your ticket. All of the money that we raise through WordFest, through donations, through sponsorships, and through some different fundraisers that we're also doing, all go back to the charity to help continue to do the work that we do with people who are having mental health crises because of the work they do and working remotely. So a lot goes on that way. I'm doing a fundraiser right now. We have this fundraising ability called 24,000 steps to mental health. And y'all know I don't really walk well. So mine is 24 days of artwork, and we're up to $394. I'll show you right there. But if you follow me on Twitter at all, you'll get to see every day I'm doing a different artist trading card and posting those every day. And then at WordFest, I will choose just randomize the donors, and somebody will receive all the artist trading cards that I make, all 24 of them. So it's just something fun.
That's fun.
Yeah. So definitely, Jim, we're looking at doing co-working. There will be, some restrictions that you will have to be fully vaccinated to get together in groups and things like that. So if you're not vaccinated, you would not be allowed to participate, just because the Delta variant is very, very transmittable, apparently. So we want to make sure that we keep people as safe as possible. And yeah, and next month, let me just look because I don't remember what's next month. Let me pull it up here. Of course, I can't find it quickly. Other questions, though, else I look stuff like this up for us.
Can I ask, this is Michael, can I ask you a question about the co-working event too?
Yes, of course.
The last summer, I think it was, there were a few, and I could be very wrong about the dates, but there were a couple virtual co-working events. Could we also have that co-working event tied in virtual, and or could there be any separate ones?
We tried to do that and it just didn't work out well. We didn't have very many people that wanted to do them remotely, and it became really difficult to actually be able to do them, to manage them. We had one where some people showed up, and then we had others where really nobody did. So we kind of gave up on it a little bit. If we do one in person, we certainly could set something up on Zoom at the same time for sure. But
Okay.
at this point, we don't have any plans to do just virtual ones.
Gotcha, thanks.
Yep.
I had a WordPress question too. I'd like to see if I could ask.
Sure. Let me just real quick. In August we have Maddie Osman from the blogsmith.com. She's going to come in and she's going to talk about writing better blog posts. So those would include like for SEO, for conversion, things like that, and how to set up blog posts. Do you know her, Kim? She's really awesome.
Yeah, we're actually just starting to work with her a little bit on content. So yeah,
Oh,
she's really fun.
Yeah, she's awesome. She'll be a great talk. So,
Yeah.
So that's August 2nd. Go ahead, Michael. What's your question?
Okay, thanks. Question I had is when you have a page on your website that you want to that's already published and it's already out there, but you'd like to keep tinkering with it. Is there a way to have like a duplicate page but isn't published? Is there a way to make that and then to to work on that in the background?
Yes and no. The way I would normally do it is I would say that you want to set up staging site. So whoever you're hosted with, so if you're hosted with SiteGround or somebody else, they can usually set up for you a staging site that you can play with and then push it live when you're ready. So that nothing on your current live site gets changed until you're ready to commit to it.
Okay.
The
Okay.
other thing you can do is, work in a Google Doc or work in an unpublished post that you can then copy and paste the content to, but you don't want to, republish it with a different URL or anything like that, because then you'll lose your any links that you've already done there and any SEO credit that you've already built for that page or post.
Right. Okay. I saw a plugin called like Revisionized, but or something like that. That talks about this, but I wasn't too familiar with it.
I'm not sure about that one. Kimberly, do you know anything about that? Yeah, I don't
I'm not used. I'm just doing a quick search.
Don't know that one, but there is a plugin just called Duplicate Post. It's actually was acquired by Yoast, and it will duplicate your post for you, so you could you can tweak it and do something in, say, in a draft form. But as Michelle said, it wouldn't have the same URL, so you'd have to watch for that.
Well, is there a way with that plugin to pull it back to like move that content over to the other page?
No, what you could do would be to unpublish your live page and then publish your draft page and then edit your slug in WordPress if you know how to do that.
Right. That's okay. That sounds pretty straightforward.
Are you using the block editor or are you using a different page builder of some kind?
The block editor.
Yeah, if you it's pretty easy to take
Yeah,
a
actually.
page. If you go to like the code editor view of the block, you can copy the contents and then edit, paste them into the other article. So if you had that like draft page sitting around that you never publish with your working content, if you use that, the block editor's code view, it's pretty easy to move all that content over.
Okay. And then that other plugin, I think it was called Revisionize. I might have the name wrong, but that doesn't ring any bells with anybody.
I haven't heard of it.
Okay.
Publish press revisions.
If you publish something that you don't want and you want to revert it back to a previous revision, WordPress does revisions. You can always, revert back to an earlier version of the same page.
Okay.
But
It's a good plugin idea for somebody, because there are plugins that will manage your content. So, I need to have this approved and have it reviewed and go through the various stages before it gets to publish. But what if it's already published and you want to have your revisions approved? So there's a plugin idea for somebody.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Of something that's already published. For sure.
I have to go have my dinner. Thank you very much, Kim. Thank you, Michelle. It was nice seeing everybody
Good to see you
tonight,
too.
and we'll see you soon.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Yep. Anybody else have other questions?
Quick one about name servers.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So I found, actually so proud of myself. I logged into my domain at Namecheap. I found the area that I think I need to be in. And I think I want to enter my name servers under, like there's a custom DNS area. I imagine that's where I need to be.
I think so.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, and you'll just need to get the actual information from SiteGround.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it could be numbers like an IP address, or it might be name like a URL.
Yeah, it's like ns1 and ns2.siteground.net.
Exactly.
Exactly what they
That's
are.
it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
Perfect. You did it. That could be a very confusing thing, especially if you're going to set up email and things afterwards and you look into A records and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, this is like Greek to me. So
Yeah.
I'll take you
But
figure.
don't feel bad. DNS can be tricky for people that have been in the business for years.
That is very true. Very true. Looks like Kimberly might be back with us again. I'm not sure.
Yes, I'm gonna leave the video off, but I don't know why that internet just going in and out right now, but I missed what you said. I don't know. I put a link to in chat for the custom DNS and Namecheap. I don't know if that helps, but
oh, perfect. Yeah, just to
Awesome.
make sure I've got the right thing.
Very cool.
it can take some time to
Probably-
go.
Yeah, sometimes it
Well-
takes up to 24 hours to propagate till you see the changes go through, but it's gotten a lot faster recently, I think.
Yeah, you can actually set the length of time that it's live for. I would expect you should start seeing it in about 2 hours at the latest.
Okay.
Usually that's what I see too. Awesome. Any other questions? Any other discussion? If not, we can cut out a little early tonight.
I did come up with one question for Kim, if that's okay.
Sure.
Yeah, if she's not frozen.
Oh, she just
Oh,
left.
there she left. Okay. I scared her away. No, that's okay. Well, if she doesn't reappear, I can, she did give out her information to contact, so
Yes.
no, that's okay. All right. Well, thanks for for putting this all together. You've got
Yeah,
a
of course.
really good group here. So,
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, and you've intrigued me with your next month's topic too. So I may be back.
Put it on your calendar. We'll see you there.
Okay.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'm going to log off then. Goodbye, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.